And I'll call this meeting of the UPTV Commission to order, speaking as quickly as I can, on Friday, September 8th at 12:06 p.m. Would the clerk call the roll?
I'd be happy to. Commissioner Mancuso?
Here.
Commissioner Wadsworth?
Present.
Commissioner Folk?
Present.
Commissioner Cinder?
Present.
Commissioner Inskeep?
Present.
Commissioner Fuller is absent, and Commissioner Polk let us know she would be late. You have a quorum.
Awesome. Do we have any modifications to the agenda? Okay, hearing none. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is approved, and moving on to the approval of minutes from our June 9th meeting.
I have a comment on the minutes.
Go ahead.
I would like it to be noted in section 4 that Commissioner Fuller did not commit a typo.
Oh. How should I have worded that?
However you want to. I just want to make sure that we don't place the blame on him unfairly.
After Commissioner Fuller corrected a typo by the clerk. I will make that change, Mr. Hess.
I'm sure Commissioner Fuller will appreciate the avoidance of blame there. Does anyone have any comments, other comments or changes to the minutes?
Move to approve.
I will second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved, and we are on to correspondence. Do we have any correspondence this quarter?
There was no correspondence to the commission this quarter.
That is, what's shocking to me is that it's been a quarter. It doesn't seem like it should have been that much time. Okay, moving on to the staff report. How are we doing?
Yes. Both Jason and I were able to attend the Alliance for Community Media National Conference in Minnesota in July. It was a very worthwhile trip and worthwhile conference. In addition to just meeting and brainstorming with our peers, I attended sessions on fundraising, copyright issues, electronic program guides, and that was perhaps one of the most interesting parts of the conference for me. I did not realize that that was such an issue among many PEG stations around the country. And it also provided me with a contact for the Grace Note people that provide part of our electronic program guide information. So we now have a contact there that we know, and we were able to resolve some issues with our own schedule that was a result of problems with Grace Note. So Jason and I both got a chance to spend some time with the vendor for Letronics, our automation software, which was helpful. The keynote speaker was a woman who is producing a video series on immigrants, which is now available for us. I'm going to try to see if we can run it. But that was also extremely interesting. Jason met a lot with the vendors, did a lot on the technical end. He did some things with sports broadcasting and working with libraries. And I'll be happy to share the brochure from the conference and answer any further questions about it at any point that anyone has. In the course of the conference, Jason was elected to the Alliance for Community Media's Midwest Region Board of Directors at my urging. He is looking forward to serving in this role and working with community media on the more regional level, which I think Jason will be a great addition to that board. On the subject of underwriting, we want to welcome our charter underwriter, Volo Broadband, who is making possible with their underwriting live weather forecasts as well as the total information package on UPTV. and is being acknowledged several times a day in prime time. And that was the first underwriter, and I'm hoping to redo the brochure for 2018, continue pursuing them. My one hot prospect petered out, so no, not. And also, I haven't heard from any of the commissioners following my entreaty to you to give a brochure to a business you support. So at your convenience or leisure, maybe drop me an email and let me know who it was and what happened, if anything.
I did contact 3 different businesses with no positive results.
Okay, excellent. I appreciate that. And I appreciate anything any of you have done along those lines. We'll keep plugging. Our production assistant, Joseph Cash, resigned. We want to thank Joseph for his service to UPTV. Jason was able to expedite a hiring process for a new person, since that person is really critical to our community access programming. We had 11 applications. Jason selected 6 for interviewing. We finally interviewed 4 of them. And I want to let you know that our new production assistant is a young man named Ethan Young. He has a mass communications degree from Parkland. He has video production experience. He's interned at Stevie J Broadcasting. His references all had great things to say about his work ethic. He'll begin next Tuesday. He'll work 13 hours a week, and his primary focus will be assisting UPTV members in production of their programs. We also use the interview process to try to snare anybody else that may be of value to us, and so we also hired Jacob Bernard as a part-time camera operator. He's been volunteering at UPTV for a number of years and is incredibly skilled with video, so he will be trained to operate camera for various board and commission meetings, and that gives us another person on the bench, essentially. We put the new policies and procedures in place as of July 1st. Most members have signed up. We're still pursuing the last few who haven't responded. Jason produced features on the Urbana Library corner lot acquisition, Farm Credit Illinois' support of the Market at the Square. He's working with Mayor Marlin on some new video projects, and he may or may not want to speak more about that. I don't know. We've begun carving up All About You into modules that we can run throughout the week in shorter formats, which will allow more of those to be seen by more people. We have created some new public arts spots with the help of our new public arts director, Rachel Storm, who's a great addition to the Urbana city staff. Jason was at the Kickapoo Rail Trail grand opening, so we did a large feature on that, which has been on the air a number of times, and the kale eating contest at the Market at the Square. The League of Women Voters will return to live monthly meetings this Wednesday, September 20th at noon. We produced the Champaign County Freedom Celebration July 4th parade, as always, and we're also pleased to announce that we're expanding our parade coverage this year to include the CU Pride Parade, which we will be working with Josh Laskowski on that production. That's at 4 p.m. on the 16th in downtown Champaign. It'll be available, Jason says, to watch on our YouTube channel later that evening and throughout our broadcast schedule, of course, in the weeks following. We have been running material from the Park District on the Crystal Lake Park rehab. Jacob Bernard produced a piece on, of course, the solar eclipse. We had to be with the rest of the media there. And we welcome Michael Badger back to town and his resumption of his NewsView program. We have a couple of new programs I'm really excited about. Ricardo Vargas and Gavin Campbell are both graduates of the Urbana High School Broadcasting program. They're currently attending Parkland, and they have begun to record a video podcast about the NBA on a weekly basis. GRCV Hoops will be heard Wednesday nights, so check that out. And Will Gerard, who is former Mayor Don Gerard's son, produces a show every Friday evening on WPGU called Rollin' Illini, which focuses on the university's wheelchair athletes. And we're producing a video version of that now, too. And the first one features a lengthy interview with Tatiana McFadden, and so that's currently on the air as well. I'm really excited about those shows. And in addition, we have the annual fantasy football program. It's produced up in New England, so we've got a good sports lineup. We hosted the Urbana Park District's Summer Arts Camp for a morning in June. 41 students ranging from the ages of 5 to 12 learned about UPTV and the services we provide. They watched clips from a wide variety of shows, interacted with cameras, and asked Jason plenty of questions, he says. We've begun our Urbana High School fall sports broadcasts. In conjunction with that, Urbana High School Broadcasting produced a half-an-hour program that's a very popular fall sports preview show that we've been running. The program highlights the upcoming sports seasons for 5 Urbana sports: football, volleyball, boys soccer, girls tennis, and cross country, including interviews with coaches from each sport, and it was hosted by Urbana High School senior Joey Wright. We will be participating along with other departments from the City of Urbana in the Community Service and Volunteer Fair at the U of I this year. In past years, Jason and I have manned a table. We personed a table by ourselves, but this time we're going to do kind of a more citywide approach, and we always come up with 1 or 2 great prospects during that. That's all I have, and I believe Jason now has a social media report for you.
Yeah, I do. And before I start with that, just on the subject, you mentioned that I might want to comment or not comment on the videos that I've been making with the mayor. Still kind of in the planning stages for some of those. The larger, I don't know, staff time that it'll take to produce some of those. We did produce, there's now a monthly city newsletter called It's All About You, but it's an e-newsletter that Natalie Kinney-Marquez, the city's communications coordinator, produces. And this past month, there was a video introduction. So the mayor on the first month back in August just wrote her introduction, but we took her out to the Kickapoo Rail Trail for the month of September, and there's a short video introduction just of Mayor Marlin introducing what's in the newsletter and what the city hopes to accomplish, and also some of the activities going around that. So if you haven't signed up for the city's e-newsletter, you can do so on the city's homepage, urbanaillinois.us, and sign up for the e-newsletter to get updated on the many events going on in the city. And now with the social media report here, let me get that started. All right, our most popular Facebook post was I actually posted the video feature on the Urbana's Market Square, their support from Farm Credit Illinois. Posted that right after I filmed it on Saturday morning, and it reached a large audience, 5,500 people the post reached, and then also 2,600 video views for that, and it was shared a number of times. And then our second most popular Facebook posts, that guy looks familiar. It is me with all of the students from the Urbana Park District Summer Arts Camp. We were inside for an hour talking and playing with equipment and stuff, and at the beginning of the session, this one boy pointed out that he had new shoes. He was maybe 6 years old, and I said, "Oh, those are some nice shoes. I bet you can run really fast in those." And we started taking more questions, and he would raise his hand again, and he told me you could run really fast in those. So we decided to take them out back afterwards, and we had a foot race where I raced all the children. I finished second. There was a very fast 12-year-old. But that was fun. That reached 1,600 people when I posted that picture on Facebook. Our most popular tweet was also when we were over at the market that Saturday morning. We didn't tweet out the video, but tweeted a nice picture there of the mayor, market staff, UBA staff, and Beth Bolger, the representative from Farm Credit, Illinois. And our second most popular tweet was with, I guess, former Urbana Police Department Sergeant Matt Rivers. He wrote a great book on the history of the Urbana Police Department, and we featured him on a session of It's All About You, and we interviewed him, and as we were interviewing him for that, I tweeted out that picture, and it was pretty popular as well. Our most viewed video on YouTube is the UHS Fall Sports Preview. Joey Wright did a great job with this, 211 views. If you haven't checked it out, still on our Facebook channel, or on our YouTube channel, rather. He did a really good job with that, and it's really well put together, and something that we hope that we can go forward with the winter sports and the spring sports, and then also continue next year, even after Joey has graduated. And our second most popular YouTube video, in fact, I had those reversed. This got 223 views. It's the Champaign County Freedom Celebration Parade, which we've done for a number of years. I think Commissioner Cinder, started that for us back in 2012, and we've gone with it every year. Diane Ducey from Stevie J Broadcasting hosted this year. She hosts the senior tent every year at the parade, and we just piped into her audio system. And the nice thing that she did, she had a cable long enough on her microphone so she would wander out into the streets and interview the people walking past in the parade, and there she is with Mayor Marlin as the city and the Urbana City Council and the mayor walked by. So that's all I had for the social media. Did you want me to go into the clips reel from here?
Might as well.
Okay, we can do that.
Here we are minutes before the parade begins, the Champaign County Freedom Celebration for the 4th of July 2017 as the University of Illinois celebrates 150 years. Our Grand Marshal representing the University of Illinois is Dr. Peter Schiffer. How do you feel about being Grand Marshal?
Oh, it's exciting. It's an honor. It's really great to help celebrate the great day.
What's life outside? Gonna sleep all night too. Yeah, it's okay. Gonna be alright too. Let us the count. We can play this as well. Don't want to fight to Summer City, sweetheart. Summer City, sweetheart. Summer City, sweetheart.
My family did a lot of camping when I was young. I love being out in the woods. I love being out in the prairie. I just love being outdoors in natural areas. And there are really a lot more here in Illinois than people tend to think about unless they become attuned to them.
Nature enthusiast Fred Del Carmen is the city of Urbana's current Artist of the Corridor. Del Carmen is a lifelong photographer and a retired entomology professor at the University of Illinois. He took a short break from photography once his family was grown, but picked back up the habit in 2001 when he and his wife Nancy purchased 5 acres on South High Cross Road. The couple now has a large prairie in their front yard. Del Carmen, a Detroit, Michigan native, couldn't be happier.
Man, we out here, CU Day 2017, man. We gonna get it in. Hey, we having a great time. We done ran into a lot of great people. A lot of people that came back to Champaign. Man, the home of some great folks, man, out here from Champaign, Urbana. And we out here at Champaign, Douglas Center Park. Yep. Me and Hub grew up at. Man, we grew up out here, man, just, man, I remember sitting on a bench like this here, Hub, yes, many a days trying to figure out what I'm gonna do in life.
What we gonna do?
And I thank the Lord for allowing us to be grown out here at the park, man, and be able to give back to this community.
I don't think I'd be worried about it. I win. No!
1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you.
Was that impressive?
No, really.
Is the board okay? Did I break anything? Okay. Well, that's all for Connect 4 on the Joey Wright Show. Johnny, big thanks for you for stopping by.
Here.
And, you know, you took this one, but
I did.
Next season,
Any money spent from their link card will double in value up to $20. The patrons receive tokens to purchase locally grown and produced food at the market. Farm Credit Illinois' Beth Bolger understands all the benefits.
That basically gives them the opportunity for their dollars to go a little bit farther and hopefully bring more people out to the market and support these great local farmers.
A transformative project like the Kickapoo Rail Trail starts with a vision and the ability to share that vision so others can see the possibilities. And then the project succeeds to what we have today through persistence over 20 years, very hard work by very many people, and raising the necessary funds. So, and I'd like to add my thanks again to David Monk, Heartland Pathways, and the dedicated members of the Champaign County Design and Conservation Foundation for sharing that early vision. You really led the way.
I wish I was an apple hanging from a tree, and every time my Cindy passed, she'd take a bite of me. Now get along home, Cindy, Cindy, get along home. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy, I'll marry you someday.
I'm here on the track with cross-country coach Forrest Faroki and UHS sophomore Tyler Carroll, who is also a member of the team. Coach, we'll start with you. Just first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about the team, and kind of where you guys are at right now.
I'm a former runner myself. I did cross-country and track for all 4 years of high school. Got a state championship at a small 1A school. The team is in a great spot right now. When I got here, there was less than a dozen on both the boys and girls teams combined, and over the past several years, with a consistent and helpful coaching staff, we've been able to grow the team to a combined total of over 40. So we have grown in size and quality. We did a couple things last season that haven't been done in 30 or 40 years, and we hope to kind of capitalize on that and improve even further this year. So I'm pretty excited.
All right, well, oh my goodness, the superintendent might be our winner. Oh boy, oh look, Nick has one piece left on his plate. Superintendent, you're the winner. Corny. All right, and that's it. We have our kale eating champion. And what did work for you? What was your strategy?
Put as much in my mouth as I could and keep chewing.
All right, well, congratulations to you. We have a trophy here. 2017 Market at the Square Kale Eating Champion. Next step, man versus food.
We'll be happy to take any questions you have to.
Where is Joey in his schooling? Is he a senior this year?
He's a senior this year.
Okay, well, sounds like he's building a great resume,
Yeah.
among other things.
He's a great addition to the schedule, that's for sure.
Yeah, very much so. Any other commissioner comments on that great clips reel? Moving on to audience participation, we do have one audience member. Did you want to address the commission?
My name is Carol McCusick at 403 North Vine Street in Urbana. I'm going to talk about something I've wondered about at a meeting I think that didn't end up being official because maybe there wasn't a quorum, but it was maybe a long time ago, like last summer. So, but also have had some phone discussion about it, which is, I wondered if there could be an elapsed time clock that's the same on the live TV, in the meeting room, and also in the on demand. One reason for it would be, if you knew you didn't catch something, like it was muffled or something, you could share that with another person. Maybe they we're looking at the on-demand later. So I guess I want to tell you what Jason told me over the phone. This was basically pretty soon after your, was it June 9th? June 9th meeting. He said they were going to PEG station meetings, and I'm not sure if that's the same as Alliance for Community Media, and Jake is nodding his head that it is. Would ask NewTek, the manufacturer of their software for meetings, about that. And he said that he is able, to strip in the lower, the block that has the agenda item, which he said was called the lower third. And I don't know if it's sacred that it can only be used for an agenda item. I was asking about an elapsed time clock. Of course, that would be something which it wouldn't stay the same. It would be changing because the time would be changing. But if you could dedicate a portion of a screen to that, I'm wondering about, we could have the adopted agenda part of the screen. What I was thinking was that, the way that the people would know where they are in the meeting at home on the TV is the way that we in the meeting room will know what the time, the elapsed time is actually on the screen that's showing you what the TV is people are seeing. So when I was sitting in the chair there, I was feeling like I wouldn't want to sacrifice any of the size of that screen, for any of the things, for the social media or for you talking. So I don't know where there could be this enormous screen that has a static panel that's the adopted agenda, the elapsed time clock, the banner that says what agenda item you're in, and the person talking, all of that. But yeah, I just was going to set the stage in case there was anything from the meeting, the PEG station meeting, about whether it's a good the good idea that it seems like to me, or whether there's technically any way to accomplish it.
Jason, do you want to address that?
Yeah, sure. So I did speak to the folks at NewTek. So one thing that we're already doing that I think Carol understood and mentioned is that we have the lower third on there that tells you what agenda item that we're currently on during a city meeting. But what she was wanting was kind of a split screen with the agenda, which is technically capable, we can do, but she kind of alluded to it herself right there. If you have a split screen, that makes everything else that you normally put out on a full screen smaller. So you can have, a copy of the agenda taking up half the screen or a quarter of the screen or whatever you want. If you go too small there, a quarter of the screen, you probably wouldn't even be able to see the agenda. So I kind of have the same concerns that Carol just voiced there. I did ask NewTek about the running clock. That's different than just our regular lower third graphics because it's piping something that's going to keep running and keep changing, whereas the lower third graphic, once we put that in there, as the current one says, audience participation, it says audience participation the whole time that agenda item's up. There's currently not a way to do that with NewTek under the software and the device that we have. They're working on, they constantly put out, it seems like every year, but probably once every 2 years at least, a new hardware package as well as new software. So that's something that they said they can, think about implementing. There are certain ways that they have implemented this using for their sports broadcasts. NewTek, the company, also does a lot of sports broadcasts with the NBA D League, or G League now, but it's the developmental league for the NBA, and high school sports, to where as the clock in the stadium changes, there's not someone manually typing it in. or anything. They have a feed from that clock. So there's ways that they can do that, but it also requires additional hardware. But that's with a stadium clock, a countdown timer clock, not necessarily one that's counting up for the duration of the meeting. So it's something that they'll have to develop their technology still a little bit for us, and then we would have to make a separate purchase to have a device that does that. So it's not capable yet, but they think that it could be capable in the future. They acted like they hadn't heard that feedback as far as wanting a running clock the whole time. At least the representative there acted like they hadn't heard that too often before. So they took it back, and we'll see what comes of that. Did you have any other questions concerning that, Carol?
Yes, you just wanted to make sure I heard you. They had not had a request for it.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And everybody's here except Chris, Filler, when I'm making my comment. I just wanted to say
Yeah.
hi, y'all.
Jason, when you are producing the online version of the meetings, where do they start? Do they start when it's called to order, or do they start at the start time of the meeting, or how does the feed?
Yeah, so when we produce the online version, I trim it to where it starts when the meeting is called to order. And
sorry, go ahead.
And also when we rebroadcast the meeting on UPTV, we trim it to where it starts when the meeting is called to order. It's only the live version of the meeting, whereas, in today's case, it didn't start until 12:06, even though we were on air at noon. But when we reshow this, we'll just trim it to where you called the meeting to order.
So I would suggest a possible relatively low-tech solution to what Kara was asking. If you just got a count-up clock with large LED numerals, and you mounted it on either one of the two sides of the whatever this is called, and then had it start. Either you could start it remotely, or maybe the clerk could start it at the time the meeting is called to order. Then the people in the audience could see that because they're in the room. It's not generally covered on the screen. And then people who want to review, as Carol, the point of this that I understood from Carol was that for people who wanted to review a section of the meeting, they would just be able to note down the time that they wanted to refer to online, and then they would be able to look at the online, and they'd be able to scroll. The online, of course, has a countdown clock built into the software that you're viewing it with. So that would, with relatively little effort, might be a way to satisfy that without saying that you need to do that. Just a thought on that topic.
Yeah, we can look into that. That sounds good.
I guess Carol wanted to address that.
If you're in the meeting room, you'll see these clocks, but you wouldn't see them if you were watching on TV.
Correct.
A partial solution, then.
Well, I guess if you can always check the time when if you're watching on TV, you can always just literally check the time of day and calculate the how far you are into the meeting.
You have, when you're, okay, how about if you tune into a meeting late on television?
Yeah, you'd have to guess how long the meeting had been going, I guess, for that. To within. All right, moving on to unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business?
We have no unfinished business.
Whoa. Never been in that situation before. And moving on to new business, all we have listed on the agenda is equipment purchases. Are there other items to discuss?
No, I'll just let Jason talk about equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, so you should have the equipment purchase sheet in front of you. Nothing spent out of this year's fiscal budget yet, so that's all from last year's fiscal budget, but it was purchased since the last quarterly meeting of the UPTV Commission. You'll see that there's 3 Shure mixers, which replace the council chambers system, so it's what we're talking into right now. And then we have some new cables and stuff. Still haven't ran those cables, but we'll have new cables ran along with the XLR connector kit. Still needs to be installed, but those are purchases that we made over the last quarter since June 10th.
Great. And that's all, the mixers are just audio, they don't have a video component, right?
Correct.
Moving on to commissioners' comments. Would anyone like to share anything with the commission or the public? All right, I'll share that I continue to monitor the UPTV programming via their YouTube channel and love it. So highly recommend it as a way of keeping up to date with the coverage. I did want to ask if my recollection. I don't know that I get all of the sports content there. That's a question, I guess. Is all the sports content included in that channel?
I believe so. Jason?
When you say sports content, do you mean the UHS Broadcasting Urbana High School sports?
I do.
Yes, it is.
Great. Hearing no other comments, I'll ask if we have a motion to. Well, I guess I'll talk about the next meeting. The next meeting is currently scheduled for December 8th, 2017 at 12 noon. Is that before the annual meeting will be?
And we haven't set the date for the annual meeting yet, so.
Okay.
If you'd prefer it to be before or after, let me know.
I think it would be nice if it was before, so that we had a chance to review the date. But
okay,
you know.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's what we did last year.
So December 8th, 12 noon in the Urbana City Council chambers, or on UPTV broadcast thereafter a few times. And then there will be a UPTV member meeting, which I assume the public is welcome to come to, especially if they're interested in becoming a member.
Or even if they're not.
Or even if they're not. And there's usually cake at that meeting, so I'll mention that. Mark it on your calendar. Sometime after December 8th, there will be cake.
Would that meeting be the day after the meeting, or
it would probably be the next day at noon, but I can't confirm that until I check some schedules. So.
Okay.
Okay. In the interests of the public's information, if they're interested in knowing when that meeting is scheduled, they might email Jake. What email address should they use?
UPTV@urbanaillinois.us.
Great. Hope to see everybody there. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.